The Christian world has traditionally been divided by the layman into three distinct groups. In Northern Europe, you have the Protestant churches, born out of the Reformation. Go to the Mediterranean world, and you have the Roman Catholics, with the Bishop of Rome, the Pope, as the head of the church. And go further east to Eastern Europe, and you arrive at the mysticism of the Greek Orthodox. But what happens if we go further east to a part of the world that has, for the past 1400 years, been dominated by Islam? Well, you arrive at the Oriental Orthodox, which we're going to find out about today. The Oriental Orthodox is a branch of Christianity that split off from the rest of the Christian world at the Council of Chalcedon in 451 AD. Theologically, the Oriental Orthodox are mere Physites, believing that Christ's nature is ultimately indivisible. Today, the Oriental Orthodox is made up of a collection of separate churches which are all in communion with each other in and around the Middle East, including in Armenia, Egypt and Ethiopia. Many of these communities, fleeing persecution and economic troubles at home, have come to the UK, bringing their traditions along with them, adding another layer to Britain's ever-changing religious community. Join me as we explore the traditions of this little-known Christian denomination here in London. So just to kick us off here we're just on Latimer Road over here. I thought this was quite interesting to show you guys. There are just some quotes from the Bible over here. Here we've got, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted," which is, of course, Matthew 5:4 from the Sermon on the Mount. And here it's obviously about the victims of Grenfell Tower. You can see here there's a kind of Christian memorial for some of the people who died in that fire. Really tragic, really tragic events. So yeah, obviously it has a certain significance here. "O death, where is thy sting?" 1 Corinthians. What's that, St. Paul there? I suppose one of the things that Christianity really gives people is a sense of hope over death. You know, a belief that there is life after death and that there's more to just this existence. And that is a condolence that is very important for a lot of people. Alright, so we're going to start this vlog off by going to a Coptic church. Hold on a minute, let me just pay for this. Okay. Yeah, so the Coptic church is the traditional church of Egypt. You know, obviously nowadays, since the Arab conquest, we tend to think of Egypt as an Islamic country. But traditionally, Egypt was actually Christian, and in fact, it wasn't even Arab originally. The Coptic church was the traditional church of Egypt. They still exist today in some parts of Egypt, and yeah, they're a really fascinating church. Right, so we just got off here, and yeah, we're going to go and check out a Coptic Orthodox church. Like I say, so we're going to go to a place called St. Mark's Coptic Orthodox Church, and yeah, this is the biggest and the most important church of the Coptic faith, or the Coptic denomination of Christianity here in the UK. It's kind of the mother church, if you like. As you can hear, there are some bells playing in the background. Today is a Sunday, It's the only day when you're likely to see an Oriental church open. Just over here, I just thought this was quite interesting. This is the Church of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which I think is the place in Israel where we've been to with the Druze. So there we go. See over here a crucifix. Obviously, mother and child. Let's see if we can look inside. There's a service going on, which might be the problem with a lot of the churches here, is there might be a service on, so I might not be able to film very much. Anyway, let's not get confused. So that's a Roman Catholic church. We're just down here. Yeah, we're gonna arrive at the Coptic Orthodox Church. So yeah, one of the big things that's really interesting about the Oriental Orthodox Church is kind of how it split off from the rest of Christianity. Because it basically split off relatively early in the history of the Christian world. You know, before the Eastern Orthodox and the Roman Catholics split apart, the Oriental Orthodox split off basically, and it was over the Council of Chalcedon, or Chalcedon I should say, which was basically a council that was trying to clarify Jesus's nature. You know, because obviously if you look at the Christian texts and the church fathers and whatever, the basic idea is that Jesus Christ, unlike, you know, Muhammad or the Buddha or, you know, Moses or other religious figures, Jesus Christ is God. He is the God that you're worshipping in Christianity. You know, he's part of the Holy Trinity, but obviously he's also a human being. You know, the Word made flesh. So the challenge in the Christian world was kind of to reconcile, well, how can God become man? You know, how does that work? And yeah, people have very different answers for this in the Christian world. And there was a big disagreement because most of the churches at the time who were in communion with each other believed something which was diaphysitism, that God was both fully man and fully God at the same time. He had sort of two natures. But the Oriental Orthodox, or what came to be the Oriental Orthodox, just believed in something called mere physitism. One nature, mere physis in ancient Greek, if you want to be precise. And yeah, they believed that God was just, had one nature that couldn't be separated. And this disagreement was what caused the Oriental Orthodox to split off from the rest of the Christian world. And this tradition has persisted to this day. So yeah, here we go. This is the Coptic Orthodox Patriarchate Church of St. Mark. So let's have a look over here. One thing that's quite interesting about this church is it looks very I don't know, it doesn't scream Oriental Orthodox, and there's a reason for that. And that's because this church was historically an Anglican church, Protestant. You know, you can see by the architecture, it's not very decorative, it's very simplistic. And yeah, but this church was bought up by the Coptic Orthodox community and converted into a Coptic church. And this is something you'll see quite a lot in the UK, is people buying up old churches, old Protestant churches where the congregations kind of died out, and you know, building a church in a separate denomination, in a separate tradition, in its place. The church does seem to be open, so we're gonna have a look inside. Obviously, yeah, the difficulty is I don't want to just burst in on some really important ceremonies, so yeah, I'll have to see what's possible. But yeah, you can just see over here, St. Mark. Obviously, one of the authors of the Gospels or the New Testament. So yeah, let's have a look inside and see what's possible. But I think by the sounds of it, they're filming, they're doing a ceremony. Yeah, so I just had a look inside that church. It is really impressive inside and yeah, really beautiful. But unfortunately, you know, it is the morning, so there is a ceremony going on, which I can't film. But what we're going to do is come back later when it's died down a bit and I can show you guys inside. But yeah, really, really beautiful. Definitely worth checking out. But one thing I forgot to mention over here is obviously we've got this writing, the Coptic Orthodox Patriarchate of St. Mark, and they've also got this writing over here. And what is this? And it kind of looks a bit Greek, doesn't it? But this is actually Coptic. So this is the language of the Copts, which is the sort of modern dialects, if you like, not really modern anymore, but dialects of ancient Egyptian. And this was the language that was spoken in Egypt, in the land of Egypt, right up until the Arab conquest, after which point it was kind of replaced by Arabic. And yeah, it's a really fascinating language, and it was written in a sort of derived form of ancient Greek, of the Greek alphabet. So it's very similar to the Greek alphabet, the letters that are used. But obviously it was adapted for the Coptic language. And yeah, this was the language, literally like the ancient Egyptians, you know, the same language that, I don't know, Ramesses the second or Cleopatra or whatever. I mean, Cleopatra probably spoke Greek, but you get my point. This ancient language that was going for like thousands of years, is still being uttered in that church over there as during divine liturgy. People are singing in the language of the ancient Egyptians, and that is like, I don't care what your religious beliefs are, but that is one of the most incredible things about Christianity, is that you have it just has a way of really preserving the cultures that sort of embrace it. So we just come inside this Anglican church over here. So this is obviously not in communion with the Oriental Orthodox, but I just thought it was quite interesting to have a look. I'm going to show you guys. An Anglican church as well. I mean, they're just in this part of London. I don't know why, but there are just so many. There are so many churches of like all denominations. Yeah, and this one is Anglican, Church of England. Obviously, the traditional church of this country. Still going strong. You can see this is some of the services they do. Alright, so we're here in this cafe at the moment. I'm just having a little coffee to replenish my energy and get a bit of Wi-Fi. And yeah, we're gonna head over to an Armenian church now. So Armenia, like the Coptic Christians, is in communion with the Oriental tradition of Christianity. And yeah, Armenia is a really fascinating country. I mean, obviously, it's very proudly Christian. It's the first Christian country. The oldest Christian country, the first to accept Christianity as the state religion. And it's a really interesting place. Obviously, Armenia is largely surrounded by Islamic countries. Situated where it is in the Caucasus Mountains, and this has really given Armenia a sense of identity, as a Christian nation. And it's a country that's obviously suffered a lot. The conflicts in Nagorno-Karabakh and the Armenian genocides in the Ottoman Empire. Something that, really people tend to overlook is like the shit that Armenia's gone through. But yeah, I guess emerging from that is a very strong sense of national identity and yeah, a very beautiful culture. Right, okay. Well, it's a very nice coffee at this Costa, and yeah, we're just gonna head over to St. Sarkis Armenian Church. Okay, well, I've arrived here at the Armenian Church of St. Sarkis. As you can see, this looks very different from the Coptic Church. This is, yeah, this was purpose-built church specifically for the Armenian practice of Armenian Christianity. Annoyingly, it is locked at the moment. I thought it might be open because it's a Sunday, but sadly not. But you can just get a little look. Look how amazing it looks from the outside. And you can see here, there's just written some, yeah, some sort of scripts there, some interesting scripts, and that is the Armenian scripts, Armenian language. Fascinating language that is not related. It's an Indo-European language, but it's not related to any other language within the Indo-European branch, so it's very unusual. So up here you can just see there's some writing again in Armenian, and yeah, I'll just show you around the courtyard. Turns out it is open after all. Over here you can just see this beautiful relief of a cross, and down there getting some more writing in Armenian. And this is just the rest of the courtyard around here, as you guys can see. I mean, it's fascinating how different it looks from a Protestant church or even a Catholic church. But you know, in its own way, still feels very Christian. So it is open. There are a couple of people inside. I'm going to see if I can film inside, because that's what's really exciting, is seeing the inside of these churches. Okay, so I've just been very kindly allowed to have a look around this church, and I've got to say, this is incredible. I mean, just look at, you've got these sort of paintings up here, you know, the crucifixion, and here is, you know, where people sit in the service, and then that is the altar over there in the centre. You can see these amazing paintings of, you know, saints, stuff. Oriental Orthodox over here. One thing that's very interesting about the Oriental Orthodox is they have very decorative crosses. You know, in the Western tradition, the crosses are very simplistic and very plain. But yeah, you'll often get crosses like this in the Oriental tradition, that are very decorative. And you can just see up here, absolutely incredible altar. Yeah, wow. And then, yeah, really cool. And then some sort of memorials for people who are part of the church here. In again, written in Armenian and in English. And then some more writing up here in Armenian. Yeah, really incredible. And presumably there's going to be a service later today. There are just a couple of members of the clergy just you know, having a chat. But yeah, wow, this is so cool. Yeah, I mean, what a beautiful altar. That's absolutely cool. Really decorative. So yeah, if you're ever in London, yeah, definitely check out this church. Thank you very much. Cheers. Wow, and really friendly members of the clergy here. Yeah, God, absolutely beautiful. Just see these amazing, lovely olive trees here as well. And at the top, you can just see that's the bell tower, and there's a cross right at the top. Yeah. Wow. Really special. Really special. Alright, well, we're now gonna head over to an Ethiopian Orthodox church. So, and this is right across the other side of London, so we're gonna have to take a bus But yeah, the Ethiopian Orthodox are really interesting. Obviously, when you think of Christianity in Africa, you tend to think of Protestantism. You tend to think that Christianity was brought to Africa with, the British and the French and stuff like that. And this is true to a certain degree, but some of the oldest churches in Christian world were founded in Africa. And one of those is the Ethiopian Church, which is part of the Oriental tradition of Christianity. So we're going to go and check out the biggest Ethiopian church in London. It's also an old Anglican church that's been converted. But yeah, we're going to go check it out. So in other news, if you like my long spiels about soteriology in the Oriental Orthodox Church, or you like my long monologues about, the future of religion in the West, then you'll absolutely love my Substack. Basically what I'm going to do is write one article a month about something that interests me, whether that's travel vlogging, whether that's religion, whether that's culture in general. And if you're interested, oh wow, there's really nice building, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, if you're interested in that stuff and you want to hear my views, then you can subscribe. And yeah, I've got one coming out about the top 5 weirdest places in the UK. But I'm also going to do a lot about, like I say, religion. So if you like my channel and you want to get involved a bit more, the link will be in the bio, so check it out. Okay guys, well, we've just made it across the river. I think this is now Battersea. And yeah, the Ethiopian church just over here. I'm not sure what I'm really going to be able to film because, let's shut this down. I think there's still a service going on at the moment. But I can just show you guys outside because it's pretty exciting. So yeah, over here you can just see this is the church, the Ethiopian church over here. And this is another former Anglican church. And you can see the congregation is just out here. I think the service is just finished. People are kind of having tea and coffee and stuff. And yeah, obviously, maybe 100 years ago, this would have been for an Anglican church, and now it's been converted for the Oriental tradition of Christianity. Okay, well, that was a really extraordinary time in this Ethiopian church. I just sat there for about 15 minutes just listening to the service, and it was basically someone just doing a reading from I don't know what it was from, maybe from the Bible, maybe something else, but it was all in a language I didn't understand. Could have been Amharic, could have been another language, I'm really not sure, but it was just absolutely remarkable. And I can't show you inside because it is like there's a service going on, and there's quite a lot of red tape about what you can film. Obviously this is it's a place of worship, so I don't want to take the piss, but that church was absolutely full to the brim. Like hello, hi. It was absolutely filled with people. And there were little kids kind of going around handing out hot water for people to drink, whole families turning up, people my age turning up. It was absolutely bustling. So just really interesting to see, and like really hospitable people, who like gave me a seat and stuff like that. So yeah, really friendly. So yeah, definitely yeah, I'm gonna maybe come back another time and like watch the whole service. But yeah, really cool place and just, yeah, fantastic people. So yeah. Right, next church, let's go. Right, okay, well, we've done the Armenian church, we've done the Coptic church, and we've done the Ethiopian church, but there's one other sort of major denomination, church, within the Oriental tradition. There are others, but there's one other main one that's kind of quite distinct and different, and that is the Syriac Church. And I'm not going to lie, there aren't very many Syriac churches in London, but there are a few, and I found one in Kensington, and it's about an hour's drive away. Oh no, where is it? It's in yeah, it's near White City, so it's about an hour away on public transport. But you know, I'd like to go the extra mile, so let's go and check that out. Okay, well, I've decided we're going to try and squeeze in one more church before we go to the Syriac Church. So there's another church, which is the Eritrean Church. So obviously very similar. Someone's had a bad night there. Obviously very similar to the Ethiopian Church. Here's my bus over here to Lewisham Shopping Centre. It's a GoPro.
What do you call it?
A GoPro. GoPro.
A GoPro?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. What's that? What, you link it with your phone?
No, it just films on here.
Just on the GoPro? Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Right. That's what it's called, GoPro?
GoPro, yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of people with it. I'm thinking, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm doing like a vlog of London, so. Yeah.
Is it expensive?
It's about £500, so yeah, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Alright, there we go. It's made it to the bus. Watching South London go by. Okay, so we're just pulling up to the Eritrean church over here. Just see it's over here. You see there are some guys outside, again wearing the kind of white robes that we saw in the other church, in the Ethiopian church as well. Deborah Sal, Eritrean Orthodox Church. Hello, how are you? You alright? So I've just been allowed to film in this Orthodox church. Just check the shoes there. And this guy's just going to show me around. Wow, it's absolutely incredible, guys, that we've walked in on. You can just hear the choir rehearsing in the background. It's really beautiful. Nice to meet you.
Just so you know,
yeah.
Just behind those curtains is just off limits for you.
Okay, but this curtain over here. Okay.
Just be careful not to go past it.
Yeah, of course. What is it that's behind there?
It's the Ark of the Covenant. It's only for priests and deacons and
wow, okay.
the clergy members, basically.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Well, thank you very much.
No worries.
That's really exciting. Okay, so yeah, these guys have very kindly allowed me to have a look around their beautiful church. But one thing they've been very clear about is I'm not allowed to go through there, and that's because through there is, it's off limits unless you're a priest or you're a member of the clergy. And he says the Ark of the Covenant is in there. So I'm not sure if he means like the Ark of the Covenant or what, but yeah, very holy place for this tradition of Christianity. So obviously, as you can see, yeah, really fascinating to be here. in this church. Hello, how are you? You can see how different the culture, the sort of traditions of the Eritrean Orthodox are from, think about like a standard Anglican church or even a Catholic church. It feels very different. Yeah, over here you can just see some more stuff written in the Gaia script, which is quite cool. I'm not sure if this is Amharic or if it's another language spoken in Eritrea, icon of the mother and child. Obviously, like in Oriental, like in Eastern Orthodox, like in Catholicism, there's a big emphasis on like icons in a way that you don't have so much in the Protestant tradition. But yeah, what a beautiful space. I'm so glad I managed to have a quick look inside because obviously it's a very special place, and I was really gutted I couldn't show you inside not the Anglican church, but the Ethiopian church. So yeah, and I've got to say, everyone's been just unbelievably friendly to me. So yeah, the fruits of the spirits definitely being shown here. Around here you just see some more iconography. There's again here scripts up there and some sort of traditional icons. So it's really cool. So yeah, really cool place. I'm just gonna grab my shoes. One that's quite interesting about the Ethiopian and the Eritrean church is that you kind of similar to in Islam, I guess. You take off your shoes before you enter the church in a way that you don't with like a Protestant church or a Catholic church, or even an Eastern Orthodox church. It's interesting how these different traditions are.
So what we do is our service is usually like so for Eritrean Orthodox church it's a bit longer than the Coptic.
Okay.
But obviously we're all in communion with each other.
Yeah.
So we would start. Today we started. There was Mahalet, which is like psalmodies.
Okay.
We started 12, so midnight, and the time period we're in now, we're remembering Mary, Jesus, and Solomon's flight to Egypt.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what we're remembering.
Well, you have a beautiful community, and thanks again for showing me around. Thank you.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed.
Thank you. Take care. Wow, what a lovely guy. Really appreciate him letting me have a little look around on my camera, because that's just so kind of him. But yeah, what a cool place. Yeah, so that is the Eritrean Orthodox. Really fascinating. And hopefully you guys got a bit of insight about what the Eritrean Orthodox is like. I've got to say, like I'm sold. It sounds like a great religious tradition. Alright, okay, let's see if we can get on this bus over here to Shepherd's Bush. God, this is London in a nutshell, isn't it? Raining, police car, ambulance, but yeah. London bus. Thanks, mate. Oh wow, I've got this one to myself. Well, we're just in the centre of London now, in Westminster. Just crossed over the bridge from South London, and it's still a bit of a trek to get to this Syriac Church, and it's almost certainly going to be closed. But let's just see anyway. It'll be fun. Right, so we're still en route to this Syriac Church, but Yeah, I really need to get something to eat. See what it's like here. Wow. Alright, how you doing? Right, so we go. Just ordered a kebab here at the Notting Hill kebab place, and this is really cool. There's a poster for the film Notting Hill. Real classic. I think the original flats is somewhere around here. Thanks very much, mate.
Enjoy, Matty.
Cheers. Yo, so I've got this little kebab. Yeah, I've been on the bus for about an hour trying to get to this Syriac Church, so better be worth it when I get here. When I get there. Well, there we go. That was the Notting Hill kebab. Yeah, I think that's the first time I've had a kebab where I haven't been absolutely off my face. So yeah, bit of a different experience. Let's go and find this Syriac Church and yeah, get this over with. Alright, well, welcome to East Acton, guys. Here in the very British weather. It's absolutely pissing it down. And yeah, we're just gonna walk. So we've got a little bit of a trek to go, but we're gonna walk to the Syriac Orthodox Church, see what it's like. And there's the tube going off in the distance. Wow, it's really atmospheric. Very typical London vibe here today. Let's go down these little stairs. God, TfL have absolutely rinsed my accounts down. I dread to think how much money I've spent on tube tickets, just clocking in and out. Right, and it's still a good 20-minute walk to this fucking church. It better be worth it. Well, what did you guys make of East Acton, guys? This is so London, like, just look at it. You've got a shawarma restaurant over here, you've got a chicken shop over there. This is just London. It's just, I can't remember if we're South or North London now, but like, it's just, yeah, just kind of like London in a nutshell. Over here I've got graffiti saying "fuck Sadiq Khan" outside of bookies. Alright, just walking through some gardens here in East Acton. This is very classic, like park in I think we're in South London, but it just gives me the, even if we're not, it just gives me the vibe of like South London, like just completely empty park, massive block over there. Yeah, pissing it down with rain. Doesn't feel safe. Home sweet home, home sweet home. Okay, well, we've made it to the Syriac Church here, and it looks really impressive, but unfortunately I do think it's shut. But let's just have a look around the outside anyway. As you can see, you know, it's an old, so this is an old Protestant church, that's been converted into an Orthodox Syriac church. So while on the inside I'm sure it's very grand, on the outside it has that classic kind of minimalist, if you like, Protestant sort of feel. And you can see some writing up there. You've got, obviously got it in English, you've got it in Arabic, and I'm not sure what that was, that the one on top is, but if I had to guess, I would say that was Syriac Aramaic, which is the dialect that Jesus, is a dialect of the language or Aramaic, which is what Jesus spoke, you know, when he lived in Judea in, you know, 0 AD. And over here we've got another sign over here. You see the Syriac Center. And then, yeah, my guess is that's it in Arabic, and that is probably it in Syriac Aramaic. But if anyone actually knows, let me know. And then it looks like, I'll just show you guys over here, looks like there is another bit over here, which is, it seems to be attached to the church. I'm not quite sure what's going on. You see there's a massive statue of Jesus up there, well, quite a small statue, and some stained glass as well. Let's see if I can get in, but I doubt I can. Okay, let's see. Don't say I don't go the extra mile for content on this channel. Yeah, they're not picking up. Yeah, that's a shame, because I'm sure it would have been incredible to see inside here. But to be fair, there are lots of other Oriental churches in London, so I will do a part 2 at some point, and I'll definitely make sure to get this one on here. But for now, it's just the outside. And this would be a good place to leave it, but there's one more church, one more religious tradition that I think we've got to look at before we finish. And that is a separate religious tradition that's still in the Middle East, that's still Christian, but isn't related to the Oriental Orthodox. In the early Christian world, one dilemma that scholars grappled with was the question of how to understand Jesus' divinity. In particular, with how to understand Mary's role as the mother of Jesus. One figure came up with a particularly interesting idea. His name, Nestorius. Nestorius claimed that Mary could be understood as the mother of Jesus and even the mother of Christ, but that she shouldn't be understood as the mother of God. Despite the apparent neatness of Nestorius' ideas, he was condemned as a heretic at the Council of Ephesus, and his ideas rejected by the mainstream Christian world. However, a few small Christian communities continued to be influenced by Nestorius' philosophy, and they survive today as the Assyrian Church of the East. This church still exists in dwindling numbers in some parts of the Middle East, isolate from all other Christian communities. However, it turns out there's even an Assyrian church here in London. So, just to round off this vlog, we're gonna get on a bus and head over. Let's go. Alright, so my phone's out of battery, and I don't really know where I'm going, but the Oriental Church, the Assyrian Church, sorry, is in West Ealing. So we're just going to go from, where are we now? East Acton, and we're just going to go over here and then hopefully ask some friendly locals who are going to put us in the direction of this church. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Evening Broadway train on all stations to Evening Broadway.
So the Assyrian Church of the East might sound quite obscure to some of you guys, but if you've spent any time online in researching Christianity today on social media, you'll almost certainly have heard of Bishop Mari Emmanuel, very famous bishop who runs a church in Australia. Originally I think he was from Iraq, but he is an Assyrian Christian, like a Assyrian Church of the East Christian, or at least he was until he was excommunicated from the Assyrian Church, and now he runs basically like a non-denominational church in Australia, with all the kind of rites of the Assyrian Church of the East. So it's kind of interesting hybrids. Right, so I've made it to West Ealing Broadway finally. Let's see if we can find the Assyrian Church. Who around here do you think is going to know where the Assyrian Church is? Yeah. Well, yeah, what I will say is I'm liking West Ealing, it's rather fun. Let's have a look at this map. The C of E Church, West London Islamic Centre. Let's go and ask these people. Excuse me, sorry, do you know where the Assyrian Church is?
I absolutely have no idea.
No problem, it's a bit of an obscure one. Yeah. Oh dear, maybe it's going to be a little bit harder than I thought. Sorry sir, you wouldn't happen to know where the Assyrian Church is, would you?
Sorry?
You wouldn't happen to know where the Assyrian Church is?
No, sorry.
No problem. Sorry? Oh, if you could actually, yeah, I've lost. Yeah, if you could, it should be like 5 minutes from here, but my phone's gone out of battery, so. Yeah.
Sorry, how is it?
ASS.
Oh, ass.
Yeah. yeah. Hopefully it's not miles away.
Well, all the road, this could be Canberra Road. Check this out.
That's it there, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, that's Canberra Road. Oh, there you go, right?
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Bye. There we go. So lovely bloke there, just helping me out find this church. Bit of litter. Ealing Broadway isn't the cleanest place in London, but yeah, they do seem like a nice bunch of people around here. Very chill, nice community spirit. And here we are. Well, welcome to St Mary's Assyrian Church, Assyrian Cathedral, I should say. Assyrian Church of the East, Diocese of Western Europe. So there's a whole diocese for just Western Europe for this denomination of Christianity. And you can see you've got St Mary's Cathedral, and then presumably this says St Mary's Cathedral in what I imagine is a dialect of Aramaic, whether that's Syriac Aramaic or something else. You can just see there's this massive lit up cross over here. Maybe we can go in. Who'd have thought that yeah, an Assyrian Church of the East church would exist here in London, and it's pretty substantial. Look at it. I mean, I think this must have been an Anglican church, some kind of Protestant church in the past, and now it's been converted into an Assyrian church. Yeah, no, the one problem with a lot of these churches is yeah, a lot of these kind of Middle Eastern churches is they do close shop much earlier than you know, Catholic Church might, or maybe even in Eastern Orthodox Church. Obviously you can see here again written in Aramaic. I'm guessing it's Syriac Aramaic. You can see it looks a bit like the writing. It looks a bit like Arabic, but it is slightly different. The Syriac scripts, the script that Syriac Aramaic is written in is kind of, it comes from the same source as the Arabic Abjad, the Arabic writing system, but it's sort of, they develop separately, much like how, you know, the Russian alphabet or the Cyrillic alphabet and the Latin alphabet you know, both came from the Greek alphabet. What does it say? This cathedral was, yeah, 2025. So this was literally opened this year, this church. This cathedral was officially opened the 15th day of February in the year of our Lord, 2025, by His Holiness Mar Our. Yeah, wow, so this is a really new church. So there we go, so this is quite interesting. This church was closed in 2018, because obviously, you know, Christianity has been sort of declining in the West. So, this was formerly an Anglican church, but the congregation just kind of died out. And quite recently, it was 2018, this shut down. So it was just kind of left derelicts, and that's when the Assyrian community kind of came in and bought it and revitalized it into, you know, brought new life into it. So there we go, that's absolutely fascinating. Wow, what a cool place. Let's just see, I'm just interested. If we ring this, I wonder if anyone is in. You can just show me your house. I just think, you don't ask, you don't get, but it looks pretty sharp. But yeah, isn't that just fascinating, guys? You know, obviously it is sad to see, you know, like I say, the traditional forms of Christianity sort of stagnating in the West. But it is kind of good as well that, you know, these new communities are coming here and sort of breathing new life into you know, the religious, you know, the Christian heritage of this country. I mean, some people think it's a good thing, some people think it's a bad thing, you know, but I don't know, I guess personally I do think it's a fascinating sort of branch of Christianity, and, you know, in a sense they put it to good use. Yeah, there we go, I don't think anyone's going to come, so yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Thanks for watching, finally made it to this church, and yeah, to be continued. There's a lot left to see in London of like weird churches and stuff. So I'll definitely do a part 2 of yeah, because there are like stacks of Coptic churches that we didn't really have a look at. So yeah, I'm going to definitely do a part 2. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and see you in another video very soon.